whether it was on the roads or at home. Mother Nature started the day with a loud roar and a flood of tears. Will it continue? Plus, a new Texas law that some say violates your privacy, why your phone could soon be under fire. KRIS 6 News starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Suzanne Stevens. Andy Lascano has the night off. A loud and stormy wake-up call across the coastal bend this morning. Thunder, lightning, and a whole lot of rain. Before we get to just how much, let's check in with senior meteorologist Bill Alexander with the latest. Bill, what a night, right?
Oh, what a morning. I tell you what, I was up most of the night watching the storms come in and then watching the rain accumulate in my rain gauge, and a lot of precipitation. Let's take a look at what's going on now, though. We're looking at precipitation having moved off quite quickly, and in its wake we got fair skies out there. Doppler radar is looking things empty, but look at the accumulated rain. Yes, we got 1 to 2 inches in our watershed, which is great news, but look what happened along the coastline. 2, 3, 4 inches of rainfall, and that all happened in about a 3-hour period, so it really came down. It's all gone now, and in its wake, well, we're still looking at isolated showers and a few thunderstorms continuing off and on through Saturday, but the heat and humidity is returning, with heat index values hitting around 105 each and every afternoon, and severe weather and flash flooding opportunities are now marginal for the next few days. Here's what it's looking like across the area, though. Temperature is now in the 80s to a lower 90s. The wind is a lot lighter now, and the humidity is lesser now as well. Your full forecast comes up in just a bit.
Thank you, Bill. Our weather team isn't the only ones tracking our rain. Our coastal bend weather watchers have been measuring from their backyards. In Cal Allen, Stephen Bergeron shared this photo of his rain gauge. He measured almost 2.5 inches after the storms. In Rockport, Joy Marshalls came in close to 4 inches. She says she's also measured an additional 2.5 yesterday. If you'd like to see more or submit pictures and videos of your own, join our Coastal Bend Weather Watchers page on Facebook. Some impressive numbers from our weather watchers, but what about our lakes? Right now, the combined capacity is at 15.5%. Last week, we were at 15.9%, and a month ago, our combined lake levels were at 16.6%. The individual lakes aren't much better. Choke Canyon Reservoir is at 14% of capacity. Lake Corpus Christi is at 16.6%. An update now on the city's master plan for the marina. City leaders say they're still working on it. Neighborhood News reporter Alexis Scott first told us about the project back in August. During that time, the plan was in the beginning stages, and now we're told there's still a lot of work to be done. Alexis spoke with Jonathan Atwood, the marina's manager, about the progress.
We're looking at 80 years of development down here and to what you see today. So I took a look at the business plan. I said, hey, we need to work on some of the services and amenities that we offer. And then the master plan looked at more of a long-term scope.
Atwood says contractors have begun to replace some of the docks. They've also started repairing the People's Street Boardwalk. Those projects are being paid through Type A funding and expected to be completed later this fall. Once the design plan is complete, they'll present the final master plan to city leaders. We have an update for you now on a controversial tax-exempt program created by the Corpus Christi Housing Authority that we've been following for over a month. On Wednesday, the 3 new board members and other local officials made a statement saying that recent tax-exempt deals on high-end apartment complexes across Corpus Christi must stop immediately.
Well, I think the Housing Authority needs to focus on what the Housing Authority was created for, and that's to focus on low-income housing and helping those who need a helping hand up. And that certainly wasn't the case with these apartment complexes that they had put on. These are not low-income housing.
No action was taken at the meeting today on deals that have already been completed, which total up to $350 million. That money could come from your tax dollars. We'll have the full story for you on KRIS 6 News tonight at 10 o'clock, as well on KRISTV.com.
Are we in a buyer's market or a seller's market? I'm Michaela Chavez, your Sunrise Neighborhood News reporter on the South Side. Well, that market depends on the price point and area. I spoke with a local realtor who shows me data from different areas in Corpus Christi. Buying a home can be intimidating, but the name of the game is simple.
The market is gauged by supply and demand.
And there's one number to remember: 6.
Anything below 6 indicates a seller's market. Anything above 6 indicates a buyer's market.
I've never purchased a home, but Corpus Christi realtor David Garcia gave me a crash course. Basically, the number that matters is our absorption rate, which measures how quickly homes sell. Corpus Christi's rate is 7 months.
Which indicates a buyer's market.
So let's bring it back to the golden rule: supply and demand. If you're looking to buy a home, there's generally more supply than there is demand in all of Corpus Christi, which means
You're less likely to have multiple offers. You're less likely to having to pay over asking price. There's more to choose from, and you may be able to get some seller concessions out of it.
But that changes based on where you're looking. Each neighborhood has its own rate. For example, the South Side is a seller's market right now.
The south side is a little bit more active. Why? Because of this number.
And certain neighborhoods are in more demand, like the South Side where Veterans Memorial is, Calallen, and London ISD. The big reason for that?
The schools. I think that if you have a family and you have a kid and you want them to excel in academics and in sports, then these 3 areas are going to work for you.
Then, if you want to narrow it just a bit more, look at the price point. Which homes in those areas are selling faster?
The hottest price point right now in the Corpus Christi area, it's homes between $200,000 to $300,000.
We're not the only Texas city in a buyer's market, and there's a few reasons for that.
A lot of it has to do with interest rates, the increase of interest rates, the tariffs, some uncertainty in the market, and those kind of things that we have no control of will trickle down into the real estate market.
David Garcia encourages those wanting to know more about safety and crime in an area to check out the state's Department of Public Safety website. On the South Side, I'm your Sunrise Neighborhood News reporter Michaela Chavez, Chris 6 News.
Home buying uncertainty isn't specific to Corpus Christi. Recent data shows mortgage rates are rising, hitting the highest level since January. According to the Mortgage Bankers Association, the average for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage increased to 6.98%, up from 6.92%. Mortgage applications climbed 2% compared to last week and are 18% higher than a year ago. From high cost of home buying to the high bar Apple is setting on young app users. A new Texas law now requires age verification. Governor Abbott signed the measure into law on Tuesday. App stores must also confirm the parent or guardian approving a minor's app downloads has the legal authority to do so. The law will take effect in 2026 to give app stores time to figure out how to collect all this information. Proponents say it will be better to protect kids online. Google and Apple argue the law will undermine individual privacy. And what a difference a few hours makes, right? This morning brought thunder and rain. Now we're looking at mostly clear skies from our Skycam. Traffic updates when we come back. You're watching Chris 6 News at 5.
You're watching Chris 6, part of the Scripps News Group.
It's a big weekend for Coastal Bend seniors. There are 6 graduation ceremonies on Friday and Saturday. And while families are preparing for the big day, city officials are too. All 6 graduations are at the American Bank Center. 3 on Friday, 3 on Saturday. Corpus Christi Police Department says they are ready for high traffic and want to ensure the community knows there'll be officers there to help.
The officers are going to work the lights to ensure that we have the best steady flow of traffic going to the American Bank Center to ensure that we can get you there on time to make it to the graduation. The other thing to pay attention to is that's out of our control is you need to know the rules of the American Bank Center, what they allow in, what they don't allow in.
Pace advises people to be patient and says that families should plan to arrive early to cheer on their graduates. Now let's take a look at the graduation schedule. Miller High School's graduation is Friday at 10 a.m. Moody seniors also graduate on Friday at 2, and Carroll will finish the day with a ceremony at 6. On Saturday, Ray High School seniors are the first to walk. Graduation starts at 10 a.m., followed by King High School at 2. And last but not least, Veterans Memorial High School seniors graduate at 6 p.m. Again, all ceremonies are being held at the American Bank Center Arena. Robstown is rolling out a smooth ride. A $9 million resurfacing project is underway to give local streets a major facelift. TxDOT crews started working on State Highway 44 today. The first phase runs from US 77 and 169 and moves east to FM 1694. The second phase starts near Concho Street. State Highway 44 is expected to be complete by early November. TxDOT asks drivers to slow down in work zones and be aware of construction. Well, those improvements are on the way. Here's a look at what your commute looks like right now. Bill Alexander has your traffic report.
Hey folks, we've hit the peak of rush hour and it looks pretty nice out there right now. Yeah, you're looking at fairly light traffic and a gorgeous afternoon. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on elsewhere across the region. The Harbor Bridge in both directions looking pretty good. There's a bit of a slowdown getting off at Tonkawa, but when you get into the downtown area, major slowdowns on 286 going into 37. Prepare for that, plan on that. It's the peak of rush hour. Back across SPID in both directions, pretty much unrestricted, and Saratoga's looking pretty good right now as well. How about in the Midtown area? The brief slowdown going from Staples into southbound on Everhart, and when you get out to the JFK Causeway, brief slowdown getting off the JFK. Other than that, it's looking good. Your forecast is as well. That's next. Hey folks, meteorologist Bill Alexander. Here's the live look from the Matthews CCAC weather camera out at Snoopy's Pier on the island, and we're looking west-northwest across, well, more northwest across Laguna Madre and the JFK Causeway. Fairly light traffic out there, fair skies, beautiful afternoon. In the wake of this morning's storms, you can see things are in really good shape right now. Also, you can see more thunderstorms developing in the Sierra Madre, but they've got less upper level support than the ones last night, so they won't be lasting as long. So let's go ahead and take a look at what else is going on across the state. Still a little bit of cooler air, 70s across much of east central and southeast Texas into the piney woods and back into Louisiana. But elsewhere, 80s and even some 90s prevail. Let's go ahead and take a look in our neck of the woods, and that's where we're seeing temperatures generally in the middle to upper 80s. The eastern half of the coastal bend. Further to the west, you've got lower 90s. And interestingly, and as a result of the storms this morning, it may sound a little bit illogical, but drier air has now taken into the area with dew points only in the lower 70s, and that's also inhibiting thunderstorm development. Now, let's take a look at that. This morning it was a real toad choker in a lot of areas here. In fact, look at these rainfall totals. Rockport, over 3 inches in some locations. Now, that's a lot of rain, and even more in a couple of locations of Padre Island. We're looking at 2.82, 3.09 at South Padre Isle. Now, let's go ahead and take a look further west. Was a dramatically different, much less rainfall, 3/400ths of an inch. Yeah, that's a huge difference, right? Okay, let's look out at Robstown, where they had the better part of an inch of rain. So it was hit and miss. And you go on out further to the west to, say, Beeville, only 100th of an inch in one location, Beeville 600ths. You go up to Hilltop Road, 5800ths of an inch. So there's a lot of hit and miss. That's convective thunderstorm activity. Now, overnight tonight, things dry off a little bit and cool out, and we're down to the middle 70s to lower 80s for minimum temperatures tomorrow. Again, upper 80s to lower 90s for your high temperature, but the humidity starts coming back, and all of a sudden we're talking about heat index values at or above 105 degrees. So be ready for that. It's coming back. If you want to get away from it, how about partly cloudy skies with isolated showers and a few thunderstorms in the coastal waters and the Gulf side beaches tomorrow. Mid-80s both for your air and water temperature. A southeast wind at 10 to 15 knots will give you slightly choppy to occasionally choppy bays, 3-foot seas, and a low rip current risk. So, over the next couple of days, this is what we're seeing in high resolution. You can see the southeasterly flow, the temperature, and just a few stray showers cropping on up here Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. And when you get into Friday, it may be a little bit different. We're looking at another disturbance coming down out of the northerly flow. There it is right there, and you'll see that migrating into deeper moisture, more thunderstorm developing. That's during the late night Friday night into early Saturday. And so that could put a wrinkle in some of our activities for Saturday morning. For example, Beach to Bay, the marathon. Severe weather outlook is general thunderstorms. No real big problems with that. So let's go ahead and take a look at your 7-day forecast. Tomorrow, about 90 degrees. Pretty nice out there. There will be those hit and miss showers. The best chance of rain will be Friday night into early Saturday, where you've got scattered showers and thunderstorms. The first day of hurricane season is Sunday. That's right, June 1st. After that, we're looking at fair skies, warm temperatures, overnight lows in the middle to upper 70s, highs in the upper 80s to lower 90s. Now, speaking of hurricanes, take a look at this. All right, this is your hurricane, your plan, prepare and survive. Your hurricane special coming up tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. right here on Chris 6. Don't you miss it. We've worked up really hard on this to give you what you need to survive.
Very cute, and you may start noticing more of them around your neighborhood. I'm Stephanie Molina, and I'll share the do's and don'ts when it comes to finding kittens. We are at missed kitten season, which means you might be seeing more cats pop up in your area. I'm Stephanie Molina, your neighborhood news reporter in West Nueces County, and I spoke with the local nonprofit cat sanctuary about the do's and don'ts when it comes to approaching them.
Are the kittens 8 weeks or older? No. Are the kittens with mom? Yes. That's when you leave them be.
That's one piece of advice Cassandra Redmond shared with me. She's a vet tech at Edgar and Ivy's Cat Sanctuary Incorporated. She says it's always best to keep the kittens with mom.
Mother cats can have like 2 to 3 litters per year. And if unspayed, that cycle just keeps going on and on.
Redmond says it's common for kittens to be left alone for about 9 hours while mom searches for food. But when she comes back and finds her baby's gone, it could lead to problems.
Their odds of survival are far greater with mom than without, even if they are healthy, because she has the antibodies in her milk to prevent them from getting sick from all of these illnesses, especially in shelters.
Redmond says the mom could also reject her babies if they have an unfamiliar scent. There's also a risk of getting kittens sick from potential contaminants on her hands. Redmond says they're already seeing an influx of cats.
We have quite a bit right now, and it can get overwhelming as we become more of a high volume shelter. We still sometimes lack the resources and the personnel to take care of all of these cats.
Right now, they have 200 kittens up to 12 weeks old. In their maternity ward, they have cages filled with cats and litters of 2 to 8 kittens.
We kind of have no choice but to say, yes, we'll take them, because we think, who else is going to take them, you know? And we would rather try to care for these kitties aside from them getting left by a dumpster or taken to animal control to be euthanized.
If mom and her kittens are healthy and old enough, Redmond says you can trap and neuter them to help reduce the stray population.
Edgar and Ivy's Cat Sanctuary Incorporated also offers bottle feeding classes for those looking to provide kitten care. In West Nueces County, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Stephanie Molina, Chris 6 News.
Now you know the kitten code, but what if you get stuck taking care of one? A new class at Corpus Christi Animal Care Services can help. It's part of an initiative that will help educate neighbors about what to do when baby animals are found. The event is this Saturday.
Caring for these guys requires time, attention, and ability to feed them, which can be a little difficult, and so we teach the public how to do that.
Like we said, the event is on Saturday, May 31st from 10:30 in the morning to noon at 2626 Holly Road. Animal Care Services recommends signing up for the class ahead of time to reserve your spot. Happy Hump Day, everyone. We're looking now at our live Skycam quad box. Stick around. We've got more news from your neighborhood straight ahead.
You're watching Chris 6, part of the Scripps News Group.
It's an experience that's sweeter than honey. A local middle schooler buzzed through 8 rounds at the National Spelling Bee. Take a look.
If you were avid about something, you see, crave it eagerly.
That is correct.
It was a good ride, but Isaac Consejo from Baker Middle School was eliminated today at the Scripps Spelling Bee. He spelled words like Malaysia, Donzella, and tropholyptic correctly, and correctly answered multiple vocabulary questions. He finished as a top 50 speller in the nation after being knocked out in round 9. Congratulations. That's too bad.
Yeah, but he did so great.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, top 50 in the nation.
That's something to brag
My
about.
goodness,
Definitely.
it is. That's right.
You're going to spell the weather out for us, right?
Yeah, and we had a bad spell of weather this morning, but it's going to be pretty good the next couple of days. So this is new. Tropical Depression, Eastern Pacific Tropical Depression 1 has just been named in the Eastern Pacific, and you can see the track it'll be taking. It poses no direct threat to us, not at this time. So we'll keep an eye on that and keep you informed. Meantime, it's looking pretty good around here.
And so it begins.
And so it begins.
All right. Thanks for joining us. That's all the time we have now. Join us at 6 for more news from your neighborhood. We'll see you then.